And now, more You Talk. Now.
Hope you're looking for just a fun time. This is going to be a great conversation with a new friend of ours. Our guest today is the drummer. And of course, that attracts me. That gets me excited, but we won't talk about drums all night, I promise you. He's the drummer for Little Big Town, if you can believe that, and The Network. He's also a life coach, and we're going to find out what that is all about. And he is super creative, just a great guy. So I'm stoked to have Hubert Payne join us on the show.
How you doing, buddy?
Good to see you.
You too, bud.
Hey, man, thanks for taking time to be here. This is so cool.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. I love what you do, and your message is great. And you get to the work, man. I appreciate that. Bold. Yeah, I love it.
Are you kidding? You know, it's really cool that a mutual friend of ours connected us, and it was just an instant connection. When he calls me, he goes, "I'm telling you right now, dude, it's going to be instant with you guys. You guys are going to. It's going to be so cool to see what happens." So, anyway, you're based in Nashville, and I something in your social. The word Detroit was there. How does that fit in?
Well, I'm from Detroit. I'm from Detroit. I moved to Nashville in the middle of my collegiate football career. I didn't even know I was moving to Music City. I was moving to town to play football and chase my NFL dreams at Middle Tennessee State. And just so happens I moved to Music City. So when I finished. Wait.
You know what? Yeah. I totally missed this whole thing about a football career. I mean, it makes sense. But, you know, because you're no little guy. I mean, I'm looking at you in pictures. I'm going, okay, we may be close to the same size. Not exactly.
yeah.
What happened? Let's just go there for a minute. What happened with the football career?
Well, I played 6 years of college football because I got a year back. I like to say I wore a football identity hat. So I based every decision in my life around the game. Throughout my high school years and really my whole life. And when I ended up, I played my senior year. I had a good time, but I didn't go pro. And I felt like, man, I got this obsolete skill set now. You know what I mean? Like no one cares about how fast I run. No one cares about how much weight I can lift. Yeah. So that time pivoting into music was crazy, but I'm a believer, and I'm just thankful for God's providence and people who loved on me and the information that I got that kind of helped me pivot and transition and use my soft skills. I call it my soft skills because I'm not necessarily running fast to be a great musician, but I learned how to acquire skill. I learned how to deal with disappointment. I learned how to be in a team atmosphere and support the bigger vision, something that's bigger than myself. And I kind of took all those things like my discipline and built a music career out of it. So it was a blessing. My knees are pretty bad, but I would imagine if I'd have kept playing, there's no telling how I'll be right now. We're trying to walk around my house.
I love it.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting that you talk about drums being a soft skill because people, you know, catching the show right now be going, hey, man, drums, there's nothing soft about drums, but there can be. But that's an interesting perspective. So where did music come into this? You built your music career after your college football career. I'm assuming you played in high school or you wouldn't have played in college. I mean, because it rarely does somebody play in college and not play in high school. When did the drums start?
So my father was a drummer. He was an amazing drummer. He was a full-time drummer, supported our family that way, but he did not want me to get into the music industry. He felt like the objective of him being a dad was to build me up so I wouldn't have to do what he was doing. So I literally played in a room by myself until I was about 21 years old when I came down to Tennessee and started playing in the church. But I didn't play with any other players. I kind of the only drummer I saw was my dad, and I was a huge Dave Matthews fan. So I would watch Carter Beauford, and I had his Under the Table and Drumming VHS. So I dreamed, but I didn't play with other people until I was in my 20s. So I'm truly a mirror of Nashville. So I'm literally, if someone shows up and tries to become what the city offers, that's me. That was me.
Now, why drums? I mean, I'm sitting here thinking when I started, I started on the piano. That didn't work out. My parents got a clarinet. That didn't work out. I had to buy my first drum kit because they figured, hey, this kid ain't going to stick with it. So, and I did. But why drums? Was it because of your dad, or was there something else?
Yeah, definitely. My dad's my hero. He's still my best friend. I'm sure it was some trying to impress him in the beginning. And then I realized he wasn't impressed by that. And I think I just admired him. I love the way people talked about my dad. He always seemed to be helping people, and everybody wanted to come to him for advice, and just the way that he loved on men, Now looking back, that really was an impression on me. So wanting to be like him initially. Yeah. Wanting to be like him. And then I think personality wise, I'm one to, I like to be in control. And as a drummer, we might, I don't care. I can play behind the curtain. I can play backstage, but I know that I'm controlling interpretation of time.
I love it.
And so, yeah, I love that. I mean, that's why I like having a ball in college. I only left the school I was at because I wanted to run the ball. They wanted me to play defense. And I think playing the drums is very similar to being a running back. You're kind of over.
Yeah. But it's got to be, man.
Yeah, it's the same. I like having the ball in my hand. So I like keeping time and I love it. And it's grown into, I really enjoy using my gift and my skill set to make people's songs come to life. That's my heart, using what I have. Yeah, I love it. So, yeah.
That is so cool. I'm going to steal that whole thing about loving to have the ball in my hand, because with my students, I'm constantly hammering them, guys, what does the drummer do? The drummer drives the band. That's right. Don't forget it. The drummer drives the band. So I'm going to say, hey, my buddy Hubert taught me this. It's like you carry the ball and you drive the band, okay?
Yes.
Don't keep track of that.
Yes.
That's so cool. It's interesting. I mean, I get where your dad's coming from as far as not wanting you to go into that career. It's funny, when I made that announcement to my family, it's like, I had to go meet with my grandfather, who was a mobster, and he wanted me to, they're all concerned. It's like, we don't want you to be some, drunk laying in a, street bed someplace because you can't make it in life. Right. So they want to have another career to fall back on, and, proved them wrong. Proved them wrong by God's grace. I mean, so that's interesting. I mean, all right, now I want to get to know you a little bit better as we continue our conversation, okay? I'm going to throw some stuff out there, just kind of a quick thing. All right, baseball or football?
Anyone who knows me knows I'm going to say anything else than playing some football is a waste of grass. I joke, it's a joke, but I love the game, and I feel like there's so many teachable moments within the game, and I love football. I kind of see everything with that frame. So I love the game.
Somehow, do you coach at all, or do you?
I coach. So I coach my son's football team during the week. I miss every game traveling with Little Big Town, but I am a life coach. We can talk more about that. So I wake up and I'm coaching all day, every day. And then I love being around the game. I work with the NFL. I also work with the Green Bay Packers, doing some life coaching stuff. So I'm still around the game. I work with a lot of college football teams, and I'm just really grateful that I get to kind of have my foot in two different lanes. And I love it. That is so cool. I mean, that really is. All right. Another couple words here. Pizza or spaghetti? Ooh, that's a hard one. I like deep dish. I love deep dish pizza. We're going to Chicago next week. Ready for that. Have a dish for me, man, when you're there. Yeah, I will, but my mom makes amazing spaghetti. My mom, it's great. Love it. All right, Coke or Pepsi? Coke, diet. And my wife got me hooked on that. Remember that. When we grab a meal sometime, I'll make sure that, they have Coke products so you can get the diet there. Yeah, right. Pearl or DW? I'm a Pearl guy. I endorse Pearl drums. No question there. Okay, can we still be friends? I'm a DW guy. Okay, we can talk about that. We can talk about it. Endorser for DW. All right, one more. Beach or mountains? Beach. Love the beach. I love being warm in the sun. I love it, Yeah, there's something peaceful. I'm with you on that. I like the mountains, but give me the beach anytime. There's something powerful and peaceful when you see the water. Mm-hmm.
And when you can just sit there like, all right, let's go back to Pearl, because I've been wanting to ask you this question. I hope I've got this right, on your social media, and you had this killer Pearl set, but it wasn't like an ordinary new set. It was like a retro kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. Did I get that right?
Yeah, so I'm playing their 75th anniversary. It's called the President Series kit. It's the Pearl Philonic. So it's like a throwback to the 70s. And, man, I'm a big fan of older musicians, vintage gear. And so I was like, oh, my gosh, I can't wait to get this particular kit out on the road with LBT because I feel like it fits. And, yeah.
How did you end up with that kit? I mean, did they approach you? Did you approach them? I mean, you're an endorsement.
Man, so actually my rep, John Farquharson, in his office, he had this like model of an older kit. And every time I go in there, I'm like, man, that kit is amazing. And it has like those throwback lugs on the kick drum. And the dude, the first advertisement I saw, I called him. I said, dude, I need one of those kits. And he's like, I got you. So I got two of them.
Oh,
different ones.
Well, I got to be careful because I'm a DW guy. So, but I mean.